Hello, everyone. I am Tacet, and welcome to the Tower of Doom, Week 19, Day 7. So, of course, today we're going to be going over all of the weekly event spoilers going into next week. Tower of Doom's already done, and of course, Faction's already done. But if you haven't already, don't forget to go and finish those up if you didn't end up doing those game modes. Of course, Faction was one of the easier ones, actually, due to the fact of how strong the legend is, and has quite a bit of potential into the future as far as its cleanse into its type of damage source. I do personally prefer Truffle more, but it's still pretty high up there as far as the troop. But don't forget to go finish those out to either get all stages, or if you're going for it, to go get level 500 Pure Faction. Excuse me. Other than that, of course, we still have Tower of Doom. We end up finishing this, but it is advised to go to 26 room completion if you can. Main reason for this is when you get the max amount of loot is for doing the completion of 25th, which means getting to 26. And if you end up doing that, you'll get the full amount of loot, because that's when you stop getting scrolls from every single room. And of course, hopefully your guild will also get all the rewards by doing so. And other than that, let's go into things that are coming out next week. And we have quite a few. Actually, we're almost getting something new every single day next week. But yeah, there's a lot. There is an absolute lot. But let's start going over all that then. But hello, everyone. So, first things first. As far as the troop that we're going to be getting for the raids, is it deals damage to an enemy, and if there is a boss, of course, do the standard multiplier based on Ascension, and then gets to burn all enemies. Basically, you get a free burn to all enemies every single cast. However, the final slot does have immune to it, but you're probably going to be dead anyways, so it's pretty much just a burn for the other ones. This might seem a little bit useless. However, you can use triple damage to burning hero classes, so use something like that in first slot, and then use this to kill out the boss. So that might be one strategy that ends up getting used for this, but we'll just kind of have to see. It does have fast trait, so that helps a lot, and of course, its final trait is just the standard additional damage against a raid boss. Other than that, it does have Pyromania, which was a trait that I believe used to exist, then didn't on any troops, and now it's back. It's kind of weird. Of course, hero classes have triple damage to burning on enemies, which is basically the superior version of this. However, this does do double damage versus burning enemies, which still synergizes pretty well with the fact that she has a burning. She gets to do a lot of skull damage, basically, is the bottom line, regardless of what she's going to be hitting. Oops, I opened up this page twice. Apparently, I opened up this page twice. Good job. Anyways, oh wait, I opened her twice, but I didn't open the other troop once. Good job. Wait, 1 second. Fail. I opened that troop once, or twice, but I forgot to open the other one, the glory troop that's coming in. 1 second. The massive fail. The fail is very strong. Let's see. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? How did I manage to do that? There it is. That's the one I want. Anyways, this is the troop I meant to put right over there. And that goes right there. But anyways, so as far as the thing that will be available for Glory this week, you'll be able to get this new Dwarven Gate. Or, you know, those things that are similar to the other gate. It's basically another Fortress Gate and all those. You know, there's several different gate troops in the game. This is another one of them. And it's ultra rare. It's a Daemon Construct, and they're all constructs. It curses an enemy and drains 10 life from them, which should be boosted based on magic. Actually, one way to double check. Where are all the troops? Let's see. It does indeed get to increase based on magic. And he also has the 3-to-1 boost ratio for his boost ratio. And then he shifts it into armor. Oh, sorry, it's boosted by souls at a 3-to-1. And then it's he then shifts it into armor. So basically, this thing's going to get quite a bit of value. Because not only do you get a lifesteal, that lifesteal boost ratio is based on soul. And then you also get it to your armor. So that's going to be a lot of tankiness. I didn't actually realize that was his full ability. But yeah, you gain a lot of durability then. You're basically gaining the same amount of life as armor. And you have boost ratio based on souls. If you have a 40 soul capacity without even using Ferrous Raz, at a 3-to-1, that will be 13 boost ratio. Meaning that's whole 13 additional drain. And that 13 drain is 13 HP and 13 armor. So that's a rather interesting combination that I'll end up having there as far as its overall ability. It doesn't have things like barrier or anything, but the extra curse that it has, it's actually the most defensive gate we've ever had. Unfortunately, it doesn't have mana to other allies like some of the other ones do, like Dwarven Gate and Thorns. So this one's probably not going to be as good because of that reason. But it's definitely the most offensive gate we've had of them. Even more so by the fact that it has 25% score reduction, which oddly enough it has with 50% score reduction. So it has 25% reflect with 50% score reduction, which is kind of funny combination to have. But yeah, it's an okay troop. It's not going to be like meta, but I believe the shifting it to armor implies that it gets both. Or then again, it might only be armor. We'll have to see how it interacts. You're right. That wording might actually mean it only gains armor. In which case, it's going to be pretty bad if it only gains armor. If it gains life and armor, it could be okay. If it only gains armor, that's probably not going to be viable compared to Dwarven Gate or Thorns Wall. Yeah, if that only does armor, it's actually pretty terrible. If it does both, it has some amount of potential, but still towards the weaker side. Regardless. Like, it's definitely not a Dwarven Gate. It's definitely not a Thorns. Those two are still the strongest gates, and that's not going to change, even if that did do both life and armor. Anyways, as far as the weapon, gets to deal damage to the enemy, boosted by Blighted Lands troops. Obviously, next week's Blighted Lands event. And then creates a mix of red and purple, which are two colors that they desperately need. So that's actually pretty good as far as coloration. Unfortunately, it does not use either of those two colors. It is a brown-yellow weapon. But overall, should be okay with that kind of synergy. However, the Kingdom into itself doesn't really have much synergy. So that could be a little bit problematic. This Friday, we have ourselves a Bounty Hunter event and a pretty cool troop coming in with it. We have ourselves a Blightwing. It's a Daemon Beast from Blighted Lands, of course. And this will be usable for Bounty Hunter. It deals magic +1 damage to an enemy. And if the enemy is diseased, explode 3 green gems. And if the enemy is burning, explode 3 red gems. And if both of those apply to the enemy, it would likely do both. The only big issue with this is it doesn't really have a way to... well, it does on Skull. But, I mean, just generally. There's not much in that game mode at the moment, unless you were to go out of your way to do it, that would be able to apply those two effects. This week, when you're using it in first slot, I guess it could be okay because you are going to have it in first slot. You take a skull, and then you could throw 6 explosions down. But that bounty troop is terrible art. Oh no, I love that art. What are you saying? It's terrible. But yeah, basically what you'll be able to do with this, it's only usable in first slot if you're going to bother using it. Though you were probably going to use it in first slot anyways for this bounty, so that kind of works out. So basically what you'll be able to do is take a skull, you plague and burn them, and then you do a bunch of explosions. You actually get 6 explosions because both of those do stack. If both of those conditions were met, it would explode 6 gems. Specifically 3 red and 3 green. So it could be okay for Bounty Hunter. I don't really foresee it being used much beyond this week. But it'll at least be a nice mana generator with a little bit of poke damage for this week, if nothing else. So I guess it's okay. But nothing too special. As far as Bounty Hunter is concerned, it definitely wouldn't be used outside of Bounty Hunter. Though what is slightly special is the Mythic that we're getting this Friday. Also, if you haven't noticed, we're getting something new like almost every day. It's actually a really active week. But we're going to be getting the new Mythic of Mistralis. Mistralis is a Stormheim elemental fae. The most relevant part about that is it's an elemental. Elemental not only is really strong within Stormheim, but also just in general. Honestly, it's probably the strongest type in the game at this current moment in time. As far as its ability, it is currently... Do keep in mind this is subject to change. But it is currently a 25 mana cost. It gets to deal magic +4 splash damage to 1 to 4 enemies. Basically, if it does it to 2, it has almost the damage output of Infernus. If it does 3 or 4, it has even more. And it's almost more like an Aquaticus, or even stronger than an Aquaticus. And then it gets to jumble the board, which is an interesting mechanic. This is the first Mythic ever. Yes, we do have a new pet. I'll be getting to that in a moment. But... yeah, we have a lot of things next week. We haven't even gotten through like half yet. Well, I guess we have gone through about half, but there's still more. But anyways, she's the only Mythic that has Jumble, and one of the only few troops in the game that has Jumble. Basically, that just reorders all of the board, but it can reorder it in a way that it won't immediately give you an extra turn, but you can swipe for extra turns, which is really good with teams that have effects that trigger on extra turn, the Jumble capability. So that's pretty good, because she does have something that triggers on extra turn. And on top of all that, she gets to gain an extra turn, which obviously jumble into extra turn is the only type of jumble that is good. If you just jumble and don't get an extra turn, it's really bad. But if you jumble and do, it's good. And as long as she doesn't get frozen, should be pretty solid. So basically, it's a really high damage output ability that's a little bit random, or actually a lot random. It could do 1 times or even 4 times damage if it hits 1, or if it only hits 1, or if it hits as high as 4. But yeah, it's going to be mostly used for its extra turn, more so than anything. There's only 2 mythics in the game that currently have extra turn. The other one is Iron Gut, and Iron Gut's been pretty meta since he's released. He's been a little bit less so lately, but still a very, very, very strong option nonetheless. And yeah, this is the second mythic to have it, and could have a lot of potential because of that. Her damage also bypasses things like Submerge due to how she distributes it, since a single target splash into adjacent damage for 50% does not get negated by Submerge. It also only gets partially negated by Barrier since it's hitting multiple damage instances. And it also gets to have spell reduction on top of that, 25%. And its final unique trait is enchant all allies on 4x, 5x. So whenever you get an extra turn off the board, she'll end up getting, which is pretty often, given that you have the jumble, you'll be able to enchant your entire team, which will gain 2 mana per turn every single time you pass your turn. So even if she's frozen, she might still be able to get some value that way. But yeah, overall, it seems like it's going to be an above-average Mythic. I'm not sure if it's going to be game-breakingly meta, but it's definitely going to be towards the above-average side. We'll have to do some team testing with it to see for sure. Because the biggest issue that she's going to have is the inconsistency of the amount of damage she's going to be doing. Given that her damage range is extremely wide, probably wider than almost any troop in the game, actually. For that reason, it's, well, maybe not any troop, but as far as Mythics are concerned, probably is one of the highest, if not the highest, damage range as far as how much it could hit. Due to that inconsistency, she might be a little bit less used. Not because she's a bad troop, but just because she has low consistency. But overall, it seems like she has some potential. And she's also the only thing in the game that can enchant all allies off of traits. There are plenty of things that can do it off of abilities, or I shouldn't say plenty, but there are troops out there that can do it off their ability. But she's the only one that can do it off an extra turn off a trait, or even just in trait on general. Actually, never mind, that wasn't an enchant. But she gets a 4x rather than a single 1x. The one that did a 1x enchant was completely useless anyways. So nice to see at least somewhat decent mythic that could do all 4x. Anyways, other than that, I believe I went over to everything. Oh, except for the pet. So, pet, where's the pet? Did I not open up a thing for the pet? But we're getting a Daemon pet. Where's the thingy for it? I guess I just click on this. But yeah, we're getting a Daemon pet. It's going to be a red pet. Looks like this little Daemon thing. It's from BlightWing, obviously. Gives the team bonus to specifically Daemons. And the Daemon still needs 50%. I'm still surprised they haven't given it yet. But yeah, it'll be releasing this Wednesday. And it'll be for Daemon bonus. And of course, use red pet food to go and feed them up. Other than that, what else do we have going on throughout the week? We have ourselves a Tuesday faction event for Weirwoods, which is the one I mistaken with the other one. But though luckily they were the same color, so you'd still use the same teams anyways. As I mentioned, this Wednesday we get the Wimp, which is that new Daemon bonus imp thing. On Thursday, we're going to be having a class event for the Dabbleist, which is BlightWing's hero class, of course. On Friday, we're going to be getting Bounty Hunter for BlightWing with that Blightwing. And of course, this Friday, we will also be getting that Mythic that we just went over. So yeah, we're pretty much getting multiple things every other day. Tomorrow, we're getting 2 new things. 3 if you count the weapon. Wednesday, we're getting the new pet. And then on Friday, we're getting 2 new things. The Bounty Troop and the Mythic. So yeah, we got a lot of things. We're basically getting, like, what? What does that come out to? We're basically getting 6 new things next week. Did I count that right? Yeah, 6 new things. We're getting a new weapon. New weapon and 2 new troops on Monday. So that's 3. Wednesday, pet, 4. And then a new Mythic and Bounty on Friday. So there's 6. So yeah. So 6 whole new things. That's basically 1 per day almost. Or, you know, as far as the average amount that we're getting. But yeah, pretty busy week, to say the least. But anyways, in other news, let's go just clear through our dailies real quick. Find out a redeem code. We don't have too many other things to really grind for at the moment. So, of course, one of our main goals is to get Monk up. Still trying to get Monk leveled. We're currently at level 96. I obviously want to get 100 by the time Guild Wars gets here, which we should easily be able to do. Because, of course, next week is Raid, so we still have a whole nother week, even if we didn't do it this week. But we only need 4 levels. Getting at least one of those levels, if not more, this stream. And I'll be good to go. Which, with that being said, we'll hand out our redeem code once we get first level on Monk. How about that? Also, I didn't even say hello to everyone yet. Hello, everyone! Hope all of you have been doing well. Hope all of you have had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Of course, we'll be covering the event video very soon tomorrow. Let's see. Hello, ArmyXTube. Hello, Bill. Hello, Birdleaf. Hello, Big Dog. Hello, Supplement. Hello, Krill. Hello, Isabel again. Hello, David. Hello, Bobby. Hello, Drock Savage. Hello, Frederick. Hello, Max Wellern. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Cookie. Hello, Locknor. Hello, Andre. Hello, Rova. And hello, Sam. And hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let me go read back. I saw a couple questions in there. I answered that one already. Let's see. How have I been doing? I've been doing pretty good. Thanks for asking, Dawn. Let's see. Let's see. The Bounty Troop has perfectly fine art. I don't know. I kind of like it. Let's see. Oh, when are we getting hello? I just did. A little late, though. Let's see. New pet. Yeah, I went over to new pet. Still traumatized with Zorn. Let's see. Yeah, Zorn was a horrible mythic. Let's see. Yeah, this mythic should be pretty fun. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be using it with yet. But I might try to put it into some kind of Infernus-like team. It has a lot of potential. It's definitely going to be one of those mythics that we have to test a bit before we really know where its standing is. But it's definitely above average, and it's going to be an interesting utility, as it will be the best enchant in-game. It'll also be one of the higher damage sources if it gets lucky in the game as well, as far as upfront damage, without having needing any boost ratio or any upscale. Because if it hits 4 casts, or 4 hits, that's a lot of damage. Obviously, it's pretty rare, given that it could hit 1, 2, 3, or 4. But whenever it hits 4 hits, that's a pretty substantial amount of damage in a PvP or Guild War context. Of course, you can't consistently recreate that every time, but whenever it hits it, it's going to be pretty devastating. The only big issue, though, is you could fall behind and just keep hitting 1 hit and 1 hit and 1 hit, and you fall so far behind that you can't catch up, which I feel like could be one thing that will plague her a little bit. It's just the really high inconsistency. If there's any reason she isn't used in the meta, it will mostly be due to her excessively high inconsistency that the new Mythic's going to have this Friday. But overall, it does look like it's going to be fun, and we'll have to mess around and see what we can do with it. Let's see. Despite quarantines, you had to work, and you're still only level 300 in Delve. Oh, no! Well, you still have time now if you have some free time, if nothing else. Reset doesn't occur for another, 6 hours or so? So you still got time. You asked in one of the other videos about what we all do for a living during this time. And even though you were not live, I answered with a cashier at a grocery store. Oh, no. Yeah, I feel like grocery stores are still pretty busy, aren't they? From what I've seen, they still are. Like, obviously not as busy as they normally are, but it's one of those kind of essential things that people need. Kind of need food. But I hope you've been staying safe then. Because you're probably around people a lot still then, if that's the case. Let's see. Go for that for now. So hello, Liz. Welcome. Also, I see you change your image. Nice. For the profile image thing. I know because I remember most people by that. No, I still remember you. Well, welcome back, Liz. Anyways, let's go clear out dungeons real quick. It's Diamond Day, so of course we want to 100% make sure we go for that and spend 20 gems on it. Or 50 gems, I mean. It's only worth ever doing it on Sundays. You could theoretically do it on the other days if you want to really focus on gems. However, the only day that is extremely good value is on Sunday, of course, when you end up getting the pure gems from it. You get 80 gems, 2 gem keys, a celestial trait stone, and a few other drops for only 50 gems. Really good value. Why not having kingdom past level 10? The main reason we have a lot of our kingdoms at level 10 and not beyond that is because any leveling beyond level 10 requires deeds. And we want to save deeds for maxing out a single kingdom all the way to its full max. So I mainly save that for whenever we need to do it for a faction, because Imperials are a little bit limited. But yeah, I'm mostly doing that just because we want to conserve our scrolls so that we actually, or the deeds, just so we make sure we use them on one that we actually want, when we want. And if we do it a little bit earlier by dispersing them into a bunch of leveling, we might not have enough deeds of a certain color to do what we want when it needs to be done. Like whenever that specific kingdom or a specific kingdom gets pure faction, or a faction for the color, then we'd want to make sure generally to go and upgrade it. It's not required, but it definitely helps when doing level 500 pure faction. We did it this time around this week to Drifting Sands in order to go gain an additional 50% stats for the delve bonus, basically giving us a level 300 horde rather than a 200, so end up helping out a lot. But yeah, definitely always make sure to go for this 50 gem pack. It's only ever worth going for on Sunday, though you can do it on the other days, but Sunday in particular, it's because even the diamonds alone is worth it. On top of that, you get 2 gem keys, which is pretty much half your gems anyways, celestial and a few other scraps in there. But it's a really great offer, and I highly advise to take every single Sunday. Even if you're earlier on in the game, you should still be taking it, as it is extremely good value. And diamonds will help you get mythics or legends if you still want to go use them for legends, like Dragon Soul if you don't happen to have it. Also, hello, Dinosuit Girl! Welcome! Hope you've been doing well. You buy every day the dungeon offer. I used to buy the dungeon offer every day. It's definitely perfectly fine to do so. Just keep in mind that it does eat quite a bit of gems. Doing it every single day rather than just Sunday eats an additional 300 gems per week. Ever since they started adding a lot of various events to the game mode that require gems every single week, I started to stop spending that 300 gems. However, it's still perfectly fine if you want to in order to accumulate more more diamonds, so you can go craft more mythics. I'm kind of at a point where I don't really need it, and the gems are just much better value to us, personally. If anyone has any other questions or anything you want me to go over, do let me know. And once we get a hero level on Monk, we'll go and hand out a redeem code for some in-game resources. And for now, we'll mostly mess with that, gain our level on hero, go from there. Which we're going to gain 2 different types of levels, one for the hero class level and one for the actual level, which go to 1534. Slowly, we shall reach 1,600. And even slower than that, we shall reach 2,000. It takes forever to reach level 2,000. 2,000 is theoretically considered max level in Gems of War, even though you can go higher. But 2,000 is technically max, but I don't think we're going to reach it anytime, ever. It takes a long amount of time. But the amount of time that I normally play, it would take probably another 4 years for us to reach level 2,000 or so. Like 3 or 4 years. However, Gems of War is likely to be around that long, so hey, we probably will actually reach level 2,000 eventually. It's only a matter of time before we do. Curious how many level 2,000 pluses actually are in the game right now. I'm pretty sure that number is below 3 digits. Just because it takes a very, very long amount of time. Even people who's been playing since the game started like me, there's quite a few people like that who still aren't even remotely close to 2,000. Because it takes a lot of playtime to get that far. What is it that I'm using for the dungeon? Which dungeon were you referring to by that? You mean for those 3 daily dungeon battles? I normally use a Phoenicia team. It's kind of like a Rowan team, but a quick kill Phoenicia because it can one-shot. Whereas Rowan's sometimes can't end up getting one-shot on those battles. It normally doesn't. But you don't have to do it that way. You could just do it with double suns or double Rowan cast, or just any kind of big full AoE damage. Also ends up working. I just happen to use Phoenicia because it's the high single cast full AoE in the entire game. It's also available this week in event keys, if I'm not mistaken. It's still a Suncrest event, right? Yeah, it is for a couple more hours anyways. It is Suncrest right now, right? I'm pretty sure it is. Until it ends in a couple things, in a couple minutes, or a couple hours, I mean. Yeah, it's still Suncrest right now. But, yeah, she's still available in event key drop table if you were really after her. She's not a really high priority mythic. You might see me using her almost every single day. However, she's pretty mid-tier, surprisingly, even though I use her a lot. She's a fun utility just because of how much damage she can do in a single cast. But there's really niche battles that she gets used for. However, a couple of those niche battles is for quick killing the mid-range of the adventure board. It works great for running pet battles, and also works great for running daily dungeons. Anything that has those kind of similar stats, it works pretty good against. Ideally, anything that she can instantly one-shot. She's also the highest trophy rate in the game, being able to win Explore 5 and 6 at a rate of very quick, at a rate of pretty much less than 30 seconds per battle, and get 2 trophies per battle with her very high full AoE. She can normally win almost as quick as a Rowan team, but be getting double the amount of trophies. Let's see. Go for this one. Yeah, I need to go look up info on that later. On Animal Crossing. Like what the whole star system is for. Or not what it's for, but how it works. Also, there's probably a way to cheese that system. Because I think it might go based on value. And if it goes based on value, one thing that we can actually do for furniture items is we just need to start keeping every single extremely rare fish we have. And you can stack them on top of each other. So you can get stacks of like tens of thousands of value on top of each other. And if it's just looking at value and different items, then that would end up working. You would just use a bunch of extremely rare, expensive fish stacked onto each other. And boom, that would count. It's probably a way to kind of cheese it a little bit so we can keep our island as is, or, you know, kind of keep it how we want, but still get the value out of it. That should count. 150 furniture is a very small amount, though. We almost have that now. Oh, it's not based on value. Yeah, I need to look that up, the specifics. I didn't bother looking it up. But that's pretty easy. We almost have that many fences now. And 150 furniture, I'm not sure exact count, but a fish does count as furniture. Those tools that we have down actually do count as furniture items. So we're almost already up at 100 with what we have. So we probably don't need to remove any trees to get 150. That's a pretty small amount. Especially since if you put a table down and put like 4 items on that table, you already just got 5. Then some chairs around it, boom, you just got 10. Let's see. Another question, besides daily dungeons, when can you gain shards for diamonds? That's about it, actually, daily dungeons. It's like one of the only few locations where they exist. You can get some from doing guild tasks. You can also get some through other various game modes here and there. Jewel Gnome also drops as a small drop occasionally. But for the most part, you gain a good majority of them. You gain probably about 80 to 90% of them from dungeons. You gain about 10% of them from guild tasks, and the rest are from a lot of scattered places that give almost none. But yeah, a good majority of them comes from dungeons, with a small amount from guild. While there are a few other here and there, it's such a trivial amount that you're pretty much only getting them from those 2 locations. Do guild tasks? Yeah, guild tasks give, I forget the exact amount, but I believe you get several hundred per tree, or was it over 1,000 per tree? I forget, but you get some amount of shards per tree, as well as diamonds. You get 25 diamonds per tree as well, for the normal tasks, not the higher task. Yeah, 500 shards, that was it. Yeah, I forgot the exact value offhand. Yeah, 25 diamonds I remembered, because that was the more important value. But 500 shards is the equivalent of 5 diamonds. Let's see. Medal of Season can be obtained by Explorer? No. You cannot obtain Medal of Seasons in Explorer. Medal of Seasons can only be obtained from the World Lore event, which will be happening again in 3 weeks from now? Yeah, 3 weeks from now. Because next week we have raids, the following week we have Guild Wars, and then the week after that we should have the next World Lore event. But yeah, you still have until then. So you have like, what, 2.5 weeks then? But until that happens, you will not be able to get any more Medals of Seasons, as they are only obtainable at the end of a... oh, I guess it is 3.5 weeks then, because they're only obtainable at the end of a World Lore event. All of your tokens that you had from the World Lore event get converted into Seasons. So if you get something like a whole medal during that, and maybe some badges, it'll just go all get converted into Seasons at the end of the event, not during the event. So we still got a while until that happens again. But no, you cannot gain Seasons in Explore. It is the only medal that is not in Explore currently, and never will be, because this is how it's set up. Let's see, we'll throw that down. Yeah, Supplement. That would explain why Isabel was mentioning that then. Because she was saying that we needed more crafted DIY stuff. Because my island has a really small amount of DIY. Most of them are just bought items, just because I didn't want to waste material on DIY. It's kind of funny, because I just keep hoarding it and hoarding it and hoarding it and use it for almost nothing. I'm kind of like holding out for like some kind of endgame item that just like uses a bunch of them, but there might not be that many. I'm also waiting until we actually find like a lot more recipes, so we actually know what kind of design theme we want. Well, we can rush stars with some stuff. Like, that's not going to be that hard. 150 doing a wide variety across our entire islands. So that's not hard for Animal Crossing. Might be a little tedious to go plant it all over the place, all over objects, but it's definitely doable. Oh, so where are you finding all this information, by the way, Supplement? I would love to have a link. I haven't really looked that hard for it, but I do need to go find where on earth it is. All this info of which you mentioned. Did you mean higher level guilds get more seasons of medals? Theoretically, yes. If you complete out more tasks, you get more than another guild, so technically. However, if you're completing out all tasks, then you're getting the same amount. There's 2 ways that you get medals of seasons. You get it from completing out the tiers for the World Lore event, and you also end up getting it from buying them specifically. I don't advise going higher than tier 6 though, because if you go any higher than tier 6, you have to spend 500 gems each for them, whereas everything prior to that's like less than 100 gems each, counting all the other loot. But oh, we gained a level 2, nice. But yeah, technically I guess higher level guilds could gain more. It just really depends how many stages they get done. Like I was able to get 3, but that was because but that's because we ended up doing stage 11 with tier 6 spot, and that was enough to do it. If you got stage 11 completed, or stage 12, but if you got at least stages 11 completed and you bought the tier 6, you would have gotten 3 medals of seasons. Do keep in mind, 2 medals of season is perfectly fine. I don't even feel like I use 3 seasons too often, even though I do have 1 set as my thing, because 20% into 2 seasons also works really, really well. But I can have 3 seasons just as a default kind of thing. Hopefully we'll use it pretty well for Guild Wars, just because if you already have a mana start, then you don't necessarily need 20%. But of course the 20% is still pretty good. And otherwise you could just go with a +4 magic, or you could go with a, what's the other one? A cleanse, the 10% cleanse Orpheus medal, and run it that way as well. But anyways, I said when we gain a level, we'd end up handing out a code, and not only did we gain a hero level, but we'd gain a class level. So let me go do code. As I mentioned, code time. Also, who messaged me? Oh, never mind. That's not a message. Let's see. There's just someone liking my posts, or one of the posts. Like, I think I already handed out this one. Nope, that's not the right one. This one's the right one. I lied. That is not the right one. This one is the right one. This one 100% is the right one. I know for sure we haven't used this one. And watch it not work either. No, it does. There we go. I can put that right over there. Put that right there. Copy, copy, paste, paste. And here you guys go. Here's the redeem code. Oh yeah, with tier 4, I don't know. Was it even possible to get all medals? No. I think the max you could have gotten with tier 4 was 2 medals. You would have to have bought in at least 6 and gotten tier 11. I don't think there was any other combination that would have done it. But you had to do at least tier 6 into 11 to get 3. But 4 would have gotten you 2 medals at least. We did the math for it on one of the videos. I think we did on the Monday video? Or the stream, or both. But we did go over it. But anyways, guys, there is the code. Use it on gemsofwar.com and for the game code section. Your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. Right over here in the bottom left corner, whatever your game says in is what you put right over there for invite code. Your redeem code is right over there in chat. Copy paste the random numbers and letters, the GV and all those random other numbers and letters. And it gives the same reward as always: 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. There you guys go. And it's only usable, of course, on PC mobile versions. Consoles cannot use it, unfortunately. There you go. Enjoy. With the main loot, of course, being the 1 gem key in there. Also, I almost forgot this thing's still going on. I'm not sure if it's really that worth it, but it's still a thing if anyone was considering it. It's 450 gems into an Orb of Ascension. I personally wait until Vault event and see if they're going to do a triple Vault Key Vault event in 2 weeks. Next Vault event is Easter weekend, actually. So I'd personally hold out till then and see if they do a 3 Vault event again. If they do $2 for 3 Vault Keys and 50 gems again, that's pretty much better value than this, because for only $2. And that's mainly because you could end up getting quite a few decent drops off of those Vault Keys. For example, a Orb of Ascension, or a major Orb of Ascension, or a major purple, or, you know, many other things that you could potentially get, as well as Cedric copies, as well as potentially 250 gem drop, as well as other good loots in there. They're a lot more random and inconsistent. However, having 3 of them will generally give you at least 1 pretty good drop. So, I don't know. I'd still consider them better value, but we don't know if they're going to keep doing that. They've only done it once so far. I'm not sure if that's just going to be a permanent change that they're doing, or if that was just a one-time thing to kind of see. But last time they did end up doing it, so you could get 3 Volkies for only $2, which was pretty good value. And if they do that again for Easter weekend, it's definitely worth considering. And it's better than most of the other Flash offers value. We have not gotten confirmation that is what they're going to do, though, on Easter weekend, so do be mindful of that. They will have some kind of offer, obviously, as they normally do during Vault events, but it might not be the same one that they had last time. Who knows, maybe it will be better, though it might be worse, because last week's was already pretty much like the best offer ever. Or not last week, but, you know, last Vault event. But yeah, since everyone's probably going to be social distancing for Easter, you'll have all weekend to go and grind that Vault event, hopefully. Let's see. Grab that. Get our Wayne down. Okay, what else? Get that down. Get our splits all over the place. Hello, Jarrett! Welcome. Hope all has been going well. If anyone still has any questions or anything you want me to go over, do let me know. I'll make sure to do so as well. Easy as that. We're already at level 97. We're almost there. 3 levels to go. So close yet so far. We should have it by midway this week. Because 3 levels at this range, I believe, takes 2 hours to grind. Like 2 full hours of doing Explorer. Because what? It's 180 per thing. Actually, a little bit less than that, potentially. Because we get 180 per hour if we're doing just this method. You know, just spamming Explorer like this. And we need almost 300 XP. A little bit less than that. So, yeah, it would only take a little, like an hour and a half. Like a little over an hour and a half of grinding. I'll easily get half of that in right here. Then we'll just have to do the other hour. I like spreading it out just so it doesn't seem as intimidating. Mostly because every single hero class takes around 29 hours of grinding like this. 28 to 29 hours of this. And that's really tedious to do all at once. But spreading it out is pretty manageable. And quite pleasant as well. I just hate doing Explore for very, very long durations. That's great for a lot of things. Especially since it's pretty much the main location you get tokens, you know. Or it always has been. That's basically been the only location, pretty much. Of course, there are a few here and there now, but it's still the primary way that you gain tokens. Tokens are used for pretty much all endgame content these days. Even once Kingdom gets higher star leveled, once they go above level 20, they did mention that elite levels will be required for post-level 20 leveling on star kingdoms. Kingdom stars will be going to 30 stars eventually, as we can tell by the rarities that kingdoms have. And they have confirmed in a old Q&A that 100% there will be epic levels required in order to go and get close to 20 stars. It might not be necessarily exactly for level 21 and 22, like immediately. However, some amount of the levels beyond level 20 will require you to have elite levels. To what capacity, we don't currently know, but we will probably know within several months. 5.0 patch might finally be doing that, which is supposed to be this summer, but because of coronavirus, we don't know exactly when it might be, because obviously things might be a bit delayed because of that. Just kind of have to wait and see. Okay, we'll take that down for now. Grab our yellow. Get our Wayne. Dead. Super dead. As Rowan normally does. Hello, Daniel! Welcome! And welcome back, Yvette. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, unfortunately, 1 mana short there, but we usually just get the follow-up. And he's down for the counts. Why are they controversial, what they were saying? What's controversial? They said you need metal troops for stars, but also it will never be a thing to max. Well, it's not a thing to max in that you wouldn't necessarily need to go and max every single troop. We don't know exactly how many metal troops we'll need in order to do this, so it might be a really small amount. We don't currently know. But based on what they said in the past, yes. Post-level 20s will require star levels. We don't know to what capacity. It might be a really small amount. It might be like a mid to a high size amount. But it will require some amount. And it likely will not require every troop being maxed within the kingdom. Which is basically what they meant by that you wouldn't need it to fully max. Because by no means are they going to make it every single kingdom in a troop. I mean, every single troop in the kingdom. Because that would be near impossible if they ever did. Not near impossible, but the amount of time that would take is you know, ridiculous. And they're aware of that. So you wouldn't need a max, like, literally. It's not like how it currently is. Like, where you would need to get, like, level 20 on every single troop. It's not like you'd need a gold every single troop in the kingdom. That would never be the case for how it's going to be structured. It might be something like, hey, get bronze on the mythic. Or get, you know, like, stuff like that. Stuff that would still be somewhat difficult, but, like, manageable to do. Like, get bronze on the mythic. Get, like, 8 bronze. Get, like, 5 silvers. Whatever it ends up saying. Things that might be a little bit difficult, but are manageable. It would never say, like, bronze, like, everything in the kingdom. Well, that it might. But it would never say, like, gold, everything in the kingdom or something. Possibly it might never even say silver, everything in the kingdom. But you never know. We're just kind of have to see. We don't really know definitively what they're going to be doing with it until it gets released. But that probably will be done by the end of this year, or probably sooner, probably 5.0 or the patch after 5.0. And the main reason I say this is based on current trajectory, it is very likely that the first 20-star kingdom will exist within 2020, which means by the end of this year, before the end of this year. And for that reason, they would have to have expanded to that point at least. Well, I guess technically they could do level 20 without actually having expanded past 20. So maybe it will be a little bit later than that, but it is very likely that they expand it this year nonetheless. If not this year, definitely sometime next year, because if we have a literal level 20 kingdom, then yeah, they're definitely going to plan on upgrading it soon to expand it further. Because they've already confirmed that they are. You can tell from the coloring too. Current coloring only goes up to epic. There's no orange legendary color and there's no blue mythic color, which would be added with level 25 and 30. So hello, Marflog. Welcome. What does meddling a mythic hero does, and what should you do with it? Or why does meddle a mythic hero? I'm not sure what you're asking, but you can put medals into troops once they've fully maxed out in order to give them additional stats. They have to be mythic at level 20 with all traits, all 3 traits. But once they are fully maxed like that, you can get elite levels, which is basically post-level 20 leveling. And basically what that is you just go and put medals into the troops, and they will potentially gain stats if they get the roll. However, generally you should be doing it for 100% chance every single time by doing it based on their rarity. So if it's something like a rare, for example, you would want to use something like 1 rare for the first one, 2 rares for the second level, and then 1 ultra rare for the third, because 1 of a higher rarity counts as 3 as a lower rarity. And doing it like that to get the absolute minimum amount of cost for 100% chance to get it upgraded. Was it able to get level 10 kingdom without level 20 was introduced? Wait, what? Was it able to get level 10 kingdom without level 20 introduced? Oh, I see what you mean. I think the answer is actually yes on that. I'm not sure. If I'm not mistaken, didn't they add both the stars simultaneously? So I guess the answer might actually be no. Because I believe they expanded it past that before we had a 10. I'm not 100% certain on that, actually. Because you have to keep in mind, we had a completely different system before the star system, and then it got transferred into the star system. So yeah, we had 0 level 10 kingdoms, as far as star levels are concerned. We had 0 10-star kingdoms prior to a 10-star kingdom. Or, you know, prior to them expanding to 20 stars. Because they did it, the star system, all at once. And I believe there were 0 10-star kingdoms when they did that revamp at the time. I'm pretty sure. Because you have to keep in mind, the star system didn't always used to exist. It was created about 2.5 to 3 years ago or so. And it just kind of did the old format and just kind of moved it into this new format. Because it was done in a different way in the past. But, yeah, bottom line is they did it prior. And there's a good chance that they might do it prior this time. Which is why I mentioned, because there's so many 18s, that given that so many things are approaching 20, that they are very likely to do a, to expand it prior to then. It might not happen, but it is likely that they do. Yeah, I know, you played it in the past. Very true. I'm just saying it for everyone else who might not have. What are the best kingdoms to get to star level 5? Magic kingdoms. After magic kingdoms? That's basically at your own discretion. Some of the easiest to do, and generally how I would advise doing it, that's how I did it on my Switch account, is do it based on whatever the event week is, and just do it since you're going to be participating in the events and probably getting more of those troops than you normally would be, and you can open event keys to go get the legends very easily. It is normally advised to do level 5 kingdoms after you do all magics based on whatever the current kingdom event is. So for example, if you haven't 5-starred Storm, if you haven't 5-starred Sunspear, or not Sunspear, gosh, I'll get it right eventually. Suncrest. If you haven't 5-starred Suncrest yet, you might want to consider it within the next few hours, or at least trying to work towards it to get the legends off of event keys, because you can get troops from it, from event keys this week. And basically, every single event week that comes by, once you've gotten all 5 Magic Kingdoms, you generally want to be aiming for whatever the event week is to be 5-starred by the end of the week. So this week you would want to ideally have gotten a Suncrest to 5-star. Next week you ideally want to go get Blighted Lands to 5-star, and so on and so forth until you have them all. Then again, Blighted Lands is a Magic Kingdom, so I guess there's overlap there. So hopefully you already have that 5-starred. That's generally how you end up doing it then. Is because they're the easiest to 5-star. Whatever the event week is the easiest thing to ever 5-star. Mainly because you can buy as much as the Glory Troop as you need to give a bunch of trait stones that you might need for a single troop or even multiple troops within the kingdom. And also because you end up having a lot higher chance to get the Legend, to get the Mythic, and to get other valuable troops from the kingdom through event keys, which makes it a lot easier to get the copies you need in order to do those star levels. It is never easier to 5-star or any star a kingdom than the event week of the kingdom, so do always be mindful of that. That's actually applicable to 10-star as well, and even 20-star when it eventually exists. But the event week of the kingdom is the easiest time to gain star levels onto that kingdom. And that's normally the easier way to rotate them. Just because you get a guaranteed new troop off of Glory, and you have access to event keys, plus during most of the events throughout the week, whatever the requirements were for it, you would likely have gotten some free copies of the troops. Like, for example, during a raid event, it is quite literally of the faction, or of the kingdom, so you'd be getting kingdom troops automatically just by participating in the raid event next week. So you'd be getting Blighted Lands troops if you didn't already have it 5-starred. Or if you didn't already have it 10-starred if you wanted to aim for 10. Though the biggest issue with 10-star, among a few other things, is having the Mythic. It's probably the hardest part. For 5 stars, the hardest part is probably trading 7 troops. And for 10-star, for 5, it's trading 7 troops, or 5 troops, whatever it was. I think it's 7. As well as getting the Legend is the hardest part for getting 5-star. And the hardest part of getting 10 stars, you need the Mythic. There's a few other requirements in there too, but of the hardest ones, it's definitely owning the Mythic, a Mythic from the kingdom. Doesn't matter which one, but some kingdoms do only have one. You need at least one of them for 10, and a Legend for 5. Let's see, how close are we on that next monk level? I feel like we're still probably a ways away. Just because of how much XP we actually need per thing. Yeah, we still need a whopping 58. We're getting there. Might not do it all right now. Because I do want to rest up a bit and then probably head to bed. I'm not sure if I'm going to record it tonight or not. I'm probably just going to rest, get rested, and wake up in the morning. I stay at Abel, we'll see how things go. But of course, we'll be covering the event video tomorrow. And we have a lot to cover, that's for sure. It's like a billion new things coming in next week. Honestly, it might be one of the highest amount of weeks, or highest amount of content we've ever gotten in a week. 6 new things. A new pet, a new weapon. Or let's see. Yeah, a new pet, a new weapon, and 4 new troops. All of different rarity, if I'm not mistaken, because one of them is an epic, one is ultra rare, one is a rare, and one is a mythic. That's actually really interesting. We're getting 4 different rarity troops, a weapon, and a pet. That's a really wide range of content. I didn't even realize that until just now. All 4 of the troops coming in are different rarity. The Bounty Hunter on Friday is going to be rare. The Glory Troop is ultra rare. The one for raids is epic. And the one for the mythic, new mythic on Friday is obviously mythic. So that's 4 different rarity troops with a new pet and a new weapon. I can't recall another week that we've had that big of a variety. It's quite a bit. Only thing that would have made it even more was if instead of Bounty Hunter we had like a new Delve next week. But also don't forget to complete out the Delve right now. You only have like 5 hours left. Anyone who's still doing that out. But that would have been funny if we had a new Delve next week. That would have been, what is that total? Because you get a new weapon as well from a Delve. Plus a new pet. So that would have been 6. That would have been 11 new things. If we would have gotten invasions next week rather than this week, we would have gotten 11 new things next week. That would have been an absurdly high number. Is Tower of Doom, or in Tower of Doom, do you make note of luck scrolls? Yes. Luck scrolls are worth taking. This ends up doing 2 things. It ends up making you, if your guild goes a little bit lower on score for doing the rewards, every single luck scroll you get counts for 2 points towards your score. So, for example, every single one of the stages that you need to progress to the next reward tier when you're going through Tower of Doom, for the ones that are guild-wide, those require Doom kills. And getting a lucky counts as 2 Doom kills. So if your guilds are normally a little bit shorter, it's definitely worth going for. Other than that, it can normally help you with leaderboard in order to get slightly higher amounts of battles or higher amounts of trophies or in placing. Oh, it does look like we dipped below 50, unfortunately. But it's still fine. We still get our 15 gems in a thing, or 10 gems in a thing. So we're not missing out on much. We're just missing out on 15 gems and a useless copy of the Doom. But yeah, as far as what was I just saying? Yeah, as far as the luckies, I do advise taking them because these. Oh yeah, never mind. We don't have to see a number on here. But all these reward tiers, getting a lucky scroll counts as 2 towards this. So let's say this was I don't know. Let's just say 0 out of 150. It would go to 2 out of 150 if you take a lucky scroll. So it does progress these stages that give all your loot to your reward, or all your all the rewards for the event. So it is advised taking them because they help you to get to stage 12. Obviously, most guilds can pretty easily get to stage 12, but if you're in a guild that isn't, then 100% you definitely should be. I still take them anyways just because they do help with leaderboard, and I don't know, they just help give you more Doom kills. It's not as big of a necessity if you're in a really big guild, but it's still worth considering. Because most really big guilds will not need that extra boost in order to complete out the stages. Like mine could have probably skipped the lucky every single time and we still would have gotten enough. Well, we still take it nonetheless. And of course it's good for contesting leaderboard. But obviously most of the guilds don't really contest leaderboard. I said, hello, Rack! Welcome! Luck is the best scroll. I don't know, I wouldn't say it's the best. But it's an okay scroll. From a number of Doom kill perspective, yes, it's the best scroll. But from an overall value, it's pretty average still. It depends what your goal of your guild is, on if they're worth it or not. I just always tend to recommend it as an option, just because it is one of the better scrolls. But depending on your guild's goals, it might not be needed. But your guild can kind of discuss that on a guild-wide level, on if you take it or not. But generally speaking, I would advise taking it. You've been in several guilds, and your current one is the first you've seen them look for it. Yeah, it's worth going for, because they might do it in order to make sure that they always get all stages. Because there are some guilds that fall in a position where they kind of have to go for luckies in order to complete out the event. Because they might have some people doing less towards the event, and those luckies help fill that gap. What position is your guild in generally? For what? As far as for Tower of Doom, we're normally around 50-ish. We're a little bit lower just because, obviously, once people do the main rewards, most people tend to stop. So that's that. But, yeah, we tend to do about 50-ish. We're a little bit lower this time around. But we're recruiting some people and such this week. But, oh, as far as trophies, we're currently 24th, I believe. We're as high as top 10. I think as high as 6, I think, or something, 7th. But we have dropped over time. Just because trophies have always been kind of a back burner kind of resource for the guild. Because we've always cared a bit more about gold than specifically trophies. And as long as people can get the gold, it doesn't really necessarily matter the trophy amount. So ever since they added trophies to everything, it's a little bit easier to go and accumulate those, if nothing else. But yeah, I believe we're 24th right now. If I go check, which is still top 25. Which if you click top, still shows us at top. I would never want to go down from here. Oh, actually, we moved up. Wait, did we move up? Or were we always 23rd? Never mind, we're 23rd right now. But yeah, if we click show top, we're still there. As long as we maintain top 25, I won't care if my guild goes a little bit slacking on trophies. However, once we start dipping any further down than this, then we might need to start stepping up that trophy grind across the guild. Because I do want to make sure we always maintain at least top 25. Other than that, most of these other rankings don't necessarily matter too much for the most part. They can help a little bit with recruiting and stuff like that. But it's not going to be like a make or break kind of thing. It helps a little bit with recruiting and things, but you can still pretty easily recruit even without being that high. Also, most of those guilds are also extremely active, like multiple hours per day. They also normally have extremely high trophy requirements and gold requirements, like into the millions. Not for trophies per week, but you know, for gold per week. My guild's requirement's only 1 million for guild, but theoretically, most people do like 2 million, if not more. But quite a few of the bigger guilds have like 1,000 plus trophies, I believe, these days, if not more, as a requirement. Which I'm actually curious. Have we hit that many this week? I don't think I did. 1,000 plus. I easily could if I was to go out of my way to make sure we did. But I don't think we did. I gotta double check. I wasn't going out of my way to get trophies, so probably not. Where's my thing? If we go to guild again. We are currently at the number of trophies of... Oh, never mind. We already hit 6,000. There we go. I keep forgetting how much easier it is to get trophies in the current state of the game. I kind of keep forgetting that. Because they kind of got inflated very hard about a couple months ago. Back in, what was it, October or so? No, no. It was a couple patches ago. Actually, it was the first patch this year, wasn't it? January? Where they end up making trophies so much easier to obtain. Yeah, ever since then, they got devalued quite a bit because the rate at which you accumulate them has substantially soared by almost double. Maybe even more so since you can get them by so many other means. Also, did I just take a PvP battle? Fail. This is not the battle I meant to take. Let's see if we can still win, though. It'd be kind of funny if we can. I feel like we'll still lose, especially if he mangs our Rowain. Luckily, he was not smart enough to do so. Good job, AI. Let's see. This is a weird battle. We're using a weird team for this too. I'll go to this. He regains barrier. Luckily, he's not going for that for whatever reason. And that should be match. We're really close to it. So with that, dead. Boom. Well, that team wasn't supposed to fight that, but there we go. We just run some PvP with the thing right there. There we go. Hey, we got tribute ready. Nice. Let's grab that. Get our other thing. Claim our tier. Let's see. The guild has 36,665 this week. That's about average of how many I have then. Like, I have pretty much just average for my guild at that point. Why not just pin the Discord link at the top of chat? I don't know. I normally wouldn't every single time. But I don't know. Isabel seems to like copying it a lot. Isabel's our Discord link bot at this point. Which is very helpful. But, yeah, I don't know. Don't think I would want to pin something like that. Normally, if I pin something, it's going to be something that's situational to that stream specifically. I don't tend to pin anything that would be just pinned to every single one. Otherwise, you know, might as well just put it in the description, which it is in the description below, the link to the Discord. But, yeah, stuff like that that's applicable to every single stream, I generally have in the description, not as a pin. The only time I ever tend to pin something to a stream is if it's specific only to that stream, like that we're doing at that time. Anything that's specific to, like, every single stream that we would ever do, I don't tend to pin it. Otherwise, we'd have to pin it literally every single time we stream, and most of that's just in the description anyways. But anyways, guys, I think we're calling it a wrap for now. But anyways, oh, good. We repaired our gems up to 18,002. But, gosh, we're still below 20,000, unfortunately. We're going to spend even more next week. We're going to be spending a couple hundred for raids, which is going to be like 4,010, I believe, to go get the weapon. And then we're going to spend like 1,000 or so, a little less than 1,000 for Bounty Hunter next Friday. So our gem just keeps going a little bit down and down. Quite unfortunate. But anyways, guys, I will catch you guys later. We'll be back on tomorrow night, same time as always. 1 hour prior to now tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, we'll have the event video going up soon and going over all the things that will be coming out. Let's see. What was the other question mentioned? Let's see. Oh, yeah, Stippleman, just write me on the forum, whatever you wanted to go mention then with that. And we'll go from there. Anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Stay safe out there from the coronavirus. And I will catch you guys very, very soon. Practice safe social distancing. You better. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you later. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye, everyone.